All right, people. The immigration debate is really heating up in Australia. And now even our mainstream centre-right party has also promised a tough stance on immigration, which I think is a bit too late, and they're incapable of doing that because of their own party's evolution. They can't go from left-leaning political party all the way to hard right. It just cannot happen. But it's a welcome change. But the real person who could bring about a change is Pauline Hanson. I am not endorsing her party myself 100%, but I do like what she's saying. I do like to have freedom of thought because I don't have to agree with everything she says, kind of like her stance on the Ben Robert Smith case. And I copped a lot of abuse from some of the people. It was one of my most disliked videos in recent memory. I think I only got about 89% like to dislike ratio. Usually I get 99.96, 99.95, but it doesn't matter. That's the reason why I'm not a politician. That's the reason why I say that I don't want to be a politician. It's because as a commentator, I can make up my own mind. Whether you like it or not, that's entirely up to you. So Pauline Hanson just gave another interview. So I'm going to play you a little clip of that, which I haven't watched, but I'm sure I'm going to like it.
Do you think there are good Muslims?
Oh, that's Isaac Butterfield, Australia's biggest YouTuber.
Do you think there are good Muslims?
I believe that there are Muslims out there who just want to live in peace and harmony and prosperity in their life and to get on with their life. But because it's so unsure, we don't know their beliefs. If you've got radical Islam that is growing throughout the world, and what we've got to be prepared for is to ensure that we don't see Sharia law come in here. But Sharia law is part of that radical Islam and pushing their own culture. Sharia law, we've got, halal, we've got the banking sector, we've got multiple marriages. They can have up to 4 wives. This is all happening in Australia. These are all things.
And I have said that before, and I think Pauline cannot say it, but I'll say it again. Tell me what is a good Muslim. Give me a workable definition of a good Muslim and a bad Muslim. If your definition of a good Muslim is someone who just wants to mind his own business, wants to make money, have a good life, okay, that's perfectly fine. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about Islam as a culture. So when there is a radical Islamist movement, like there are many,
there is a Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala waiting to be established. We forget that every single day that we live without the Sharia of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are being dishonored. We are being belittled. The blood of the Muslims have become cheap.
Who say that we want to take over Australia, who say that we want Sharia in Australia, we want to spread Allah's deen, Allah's religion, i.e. Islam, all over the world, etc. That would always be a tiny minority. 5 to 10%, okay? But the problem is people who bring about revolutions, they only need to be 5 to 10%. Not everyone is an active participant. However, everyone falls in line when a revolution takes place. I have given this example many times before. How many good Germans were there in 1933 who did not vote for Hitler? Hitler only got 25% of the votes in 1933. Which means the other 75%, they didn't vote for him. You could argue that they were good Germans, but what happened to them? They all fell in line when Hitler came to power. They couldn't do anything. So the term that we use for them is that they were irrelevant. Those good Germans were irrelevant. Some actually wanted to take out Hitler. They didn't succeed, so well done, kudos to them. And some Muslims might actually oppose those Muslims who want to bring Sharia into Australia. Good. Well done. You can be our allies. I wouldn't judge you on that. If you want to stop the flow of Islamism in Australia or in the UK, I'll see you as a friend. I would see past your personal religious matter. But the sad reality is they will fall in line. And when they have to pick between Australia, Australian constitution, Australian values, and a movement that is probably going to be successful in bringing about Sharia in Australia. I'm not saying they will succeed, but in their minds, if they see that, how can they go against Islam? If they go against Islam, they'll be shut down. They'll be killed. They'll be thrown off rooftops because they'll be traitors. Because Islam as a culture has very clear set principles. And again, you don't have to take my word for it. Just look at the Muslim world. Pakistan is supposed to be a democracy, yeah? I was born and raised in Pakistan. I can't go to Pakistan. If I'm not arrested at the airport, I'll be lynched by a mob. And the government is not going to do anything about it. And now that is a supposedly moderate Pakistan. Pakistani people are not that. Pakistan is not Afghanistan. Let's just say that. I'm just saying that there are liberal Muslim countries like Malaysia and Turkey, even though Erdogan is doing everything in his power to turn it into a radical Islamist shithole, but I don't know whether he'll succeed or not. So you have liberal Muslim countries like Malaysia and Indonesia and Turkey with some elements of radical Muslims in there. And then you have moderate Muslims in between, okay? And I'm saying that by Muslim standards, okay? The countries like Pakistan and Uzbekistan and, you know, so many the Central Asian countries. And then you have hardcore Islamist countries like Afghanistan, like Iran. We've had an Islamist revolution in Bangladesh recently. So Bangladesh used to be a moderate country and now it looks like it's going to turn into another Islamic failed state. So that is the state of a moderate country like Pakistan. I can't go there. So what is going to happen when you bring in more of those people? Even those people who are good Muslims, they're irrelevant, Pauline. They are absolutely irrelevant. But I guess Pauline has to say this. She got in trouble last time when she said there are no good Muslims.
I think it was 12 kids were married off last year or over the last couple of years in New South Wales.
Yeah.
I did a video on it a couple of weeks ago.
Increased, 91.
It was really
Yeah.
across the country.
Yeah.
It's dramatic.
91 child marriages. 91. We didn't have that before, guys. That is what I call cultural contamination.
That's right. So
It's dramatic.
So increased. I think it increased by a third from the previous year. So
and it'll keep increasing. We're going to have more FGMs. We're going to have more honor killings. We've had honor killings here as well. In Adelaide, I covered a story last year where an Iraqi father murdered his daughter or tried to kill his daughter. I think she survived because she had a boyfriend. I don't know if he was an Aussie boyfriend or not. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. We're going to have those problems. A lot more of them. The more Muslims we import. How do you know who's a moderate Muslim? Who is going to be a good Muslim? You don't know that. In fact, here's the problem that nobody wants to talk about. Even if you bring in seemingly moderate Muslims, like Motin Ali's parents, as you can see. This is Motin Ali's dad, the guy on the top left, Motin Ali's dad. The lady on the top right, Motin Ali's mother, seemingly moderate, you know, he's wearing a three-piece suit. But look how the next generation turned out to be. So even if you bring moderate Muslims, seemingly, there is no guarantee that their kids are also going to be moderate. In fact, in all likelihood, their kids are going to be more radical. And there's a perfectly logically explainable social phenomena behind that. When Muslims live in Muslim countries, they are not threatened by a foreign culture, a foreign religion, because most Muslim countries are majorly homogenous, okay? Pakistan is 90%, 95% Muslim, and they're made up of traditional ethnic groups. But when you go to a foreign country, an infidel country, like the UK or Australia or America or Canada, even though you could be a moderate of your time, but you're now going to compete with a far more advanced and superior way of life, Western way of life. So what we have seen that those immigrants, especially Muslims, what they do is that they shield their children from Western influence. So what they do, they send them to mosques, they send them to faith schools. And this is the reason why I say that when we ban halal, when we ban burqas and niqabs, when we ban cousin marriages, when we ban FGM, when we ban forced marriages, when we ban so many of these other things, we need to ban faith schools as well. Islamic faith schools have to go. Islamic faith schools are factories of these radical looking Muslims. They have no intention of integrating. In fact, even moderate Muslims have now started making an excuse that why should we integrate? Why? Let me find you that tweet of this moderate Washington Post Muslim journalist. Look at this. He wrote this article, Shadi Hamid. He's a columnist at Washington Post. Look, he's saying, why do Muslims need to be like everyone else? A case against assimilation. I am tired of proving I belong in America. Oh, he doesn't want to prove that he belongs to America. Guess what? If you do belong to a country, you don't have to prove anything. I have never been treated differently by an Aussie. Never. You know why? Because I don't say, hey, I'm a Muslim. I'm a brown man. You know what Australia did? You know, Australia is a settler colonial country. It massacred a lot of Aboriginal people. I don't say any of those things because I don't believe in those things, okay? I am very grateful that a handful of European people came to this continent and built this amazing country. amazing country for all of us to enjoy. I know Aboriginal people, and look, I'm not going to take anything away from the Aboriginal community, okay? Their way of life was affected, I would say, for better. That's my opinion, but fair enough. You can hold whatever view you have. But it's a good thing that it happened. But what do Muslims say when they come here? This is what they say when they come here. They try to exploit it. Guys, the job of Mehdi Hassans and Busha Sheikhs and all of these people, their job is to weaken our countries from within. I'm going to regularly keep debunking Mehdi Hassan because his arguments are so stupid. I just made another video recently. So when they come to Australia, this is what they do. They come from the third world shitholes where they don't care about any culture, any civilization. They just destroy them and impose Islam. This guy is Ahmed Auf, from, and look at this, the Australian Holocaust.
The Australian Holocaust began on 26th of January, 1788.
Shut up. Get the fuck out of here. Citizenship cancelled, deport. Desperate times call for desperate measures. We don't need to get moral lessons from these barbarians. We don't need to. We refuse to take it. Shut up. I've had enough. Anytime someone tries to water down Australian culture, Australian society, or the Australian way of life, we are not interested in hearing whatever you have to say. So wait till we get a really hard right government in Australia. And I really hope, like, okay, I'm not a politician or anything, but I can take a position, okay? Or as an advisor or as a consultant. I want to be in charge of deportation. I'm going to come up with a really good questionnaire. Hey, dear Muslim, what do you think about child marriage? Yeah, I'm against it. Oh, so you're against Prophet Muhammad's marriage of Aisha? No, back in the... Deport. Cancel, deport. Do you think we should get rid of this settler colonial state? Yes. Deport. That's how ruthless I'm going to be. Anyway, let's just finish Pauline's video. Jeez, I love to talk, don't I?
You have got them going overseas, these child marriages there.
To have them come back.
Yeah, this is not religious. This
It is religious, Pauline. This is Islam. You don't need to mince your words or pull your punches, darling. Kick their ass. This is them. This is Islam.
there.
To have them and then
having.
come back.
Yeah, this is not religious. This is a culture that's incompatible with the Australian way of life.
Yes.
That this is their religion. Their religion, Islam, is incompatible with the Australian way of life. And we do not have to apologize for our way of life. Just like the Maasai tribe or an Amazonian tribe or Japanese society or any other society does not have to apologize for merely existing. I don't know what's wrong with these Anglo countries. They're the only ones who are like, hey, you know what? We welcome every culture. You can come and impose any cultural value on us, and we're just going to clap and we're going to say, isn't that beautiful? It ain't.
It's an ideology that is, you know, on a lot of it's based on terrorism, incompatible with their culture and way of life. And wake up Australia, because it's happening in your backyard.
It's the Islamic ideology. Look, if she has to be our next prime minister, then I understand that she has to pull her punches back and she needs to be a bit more careful. But she needs to have a Rottweiler, really. Like Reform has Zia Yusuf. She needs someone who can just blurt out facts unashamedly. Anyway, well done, Pauline.